Ask your doctor how he's going to bring back your circulation. How many people know here that you can't have any circulation problems if you didn't have any blocks in your body? What are the blocks? Well, what is a block made out of? Cement? Oh, there you go. Calcium. So understand something. Rob Peter to pay Paul. Rob Peter to pay Paul. Okay. So just so you know this, when you don't know how to stay in alignment on an emotional and physical level, you are going to be taking calcium from your body, and you would have perfect bones if you had perfect circulation, and you also learned how to unconditionally love and care for yourself, and you weren't a drama, trauma, king or queen. Okay, understand, I'll make it really short. Okay, I don't care what the trauma is, I'm going to be back in an alignment in 15 seconds, not an hour and a half, not a day and a half, not a month and a half. Because that's what they're doing to us right now, aren't they? Henny penny, the sky's falling in. And guess what? We were working with a beautiful person, and she has a cell sonic regeneration, and she was just at Dana's place, and her father, all right, was just told by his oncologist that he can eat anything he wants, ice cream, he can go back to drinking alcohol, smoking, it makes no difference with his cancer. And then his doctor said, we need to give you chemotherapy, radiation, and we also need to cut out the tumor. This is the world we live in, thank you very much. And understand something. I started in the healthcare business when I was 23 years old. I hitchhiked to Gary, Indiana, okay, and I went and became a colon therapist when I was 21 years old. Did you get that? I hitchhiked there to take that course. And understand something. So I've been in business for a while. And when I got into business, we were dealing with arthritis, we were dealing with hemorrhoids, we were dealing with asthma. Okay, there was no COPD because there isn't actually any COPD. Okay, and there is no actual cholesterol problems, and there is no actual such thing as heart disease. Oh, and you're going to tell me there is. The reality is that we have a name for everything because we have a drug for everything, and we don't need a name for everything and a drug for everything because it's circulation, and the circulation is being cut off from infection, which creates inflammation, and inflammation causes dehydration, which causes the beef jerky scar tissue, and that's the old age that you're feeling. And understand, nothing will give you more scar tissue than having surgery, and that's why we will give a money-back guarantee to anyone going to surgery that we can prove to them in the first treatment that we can help to restore them. And that's right. We can't restore them. We can help to restore them because they'll have to take massive personal action, which every one of the practitioners on here today knows that. Now, here's the deal. 40 years ago, it was a walk in the park. You know what? 40 years ago, you could have been a hobby health expert and you were able to turn around these symptoms called chronic illnesses. Now they're all autoimmune diseases. How many people know that 92% of the population has an autoimmune disease? Not one, not two, but even three. Okay, I'm going to be doing what's called stat of the day. And I'm going to be doing it every day. And it's going to be coming on the same time every day. And I will prove to you that even just 20 years ago, we didn't have all of these major autoimmune diseases and people weren't, they weren't dying everywhere. They weren't sick like they're sick today, and understand that. So the reality is, I said to myself, quite a few years ago, that guess what? We have to do what Einstein said, and that is it's called energy medicine. And understand this, 40 years ago, people came to us with a 2-foot hole. How hard is it to give them a 2-foot ladder? Now it's a 20-foot hole. And understand, if you don't want to bring in the thunder like a cardio med bed and a cell sonic regeneration, and not supplements, but nutraceuticals that have the highest vibrational frequency, and then go in with your elbow called Wolf Non-Surgical and actually pull the beef jerky apart. You ever eat beef jerky? Well, that's what grandma and grandpa is. That's what your children are after they have an accident. Yes, even your children have scar tissue in them after they injure themselves. And if that scar tissue is not removed, that injury they got when they were even young, like 12, 13, 14, 15, becomes a war wound, and now they're limping over it. And guess what? My practitioners that come to take my whole life coach certification and Wolf Non-Surgical certification, they know how to turn this completely around. And guess what? You go to your medical doctor, and he's going to tell you that you got to live with it. okay? Because he's not allowed to tell you anything that will empower you. And then if you go to a chiropractor, they will align your spine, which could be life-saving. But if they don't go and get rid of the calcification and the scar tissue within the spine, you don't restore back to your natural height. And guess what? That was the problem the whole time. It's all about scar tissue, all about calcification, and it's all created from inflammation. And there are no genetic diseases. It's all epigenetic, and you've all been taught to torture yourself and to kill yourself and everybody else around you, and you call it normal living. And the reality is, you can say, oh my God, who is this guy? What a drama queen. Well, I'm going to tell you something. This wasn't me saying it. Isn't it something? The same guys who are causing the trouble, the WHO, say that more people will die. They use the word die. I say pass on. More people will die in the next 5 to 7 years than in all the wars. Really? Really? That doesn't have to happen. And that's why we're here today. And we're here to talk about this. Because guess what? Don't believe in their story. Create your own story. Become your own practitioner. And go to a practitioner that wants to train you, not treat you. What do you think, Dana?
Hey everyone, I think you're playing on, and I have one of my clients here. I thought maybe we could start with her story, because I think everything that Doc just mentioned, you're going to see it encased in her story. And unfortunately, she is very, very similar to almost all my clients that come in. It's about circulation issues. It's about calcification. It's about inflammation. And also, I'm sorry.
Can I ask you a question before you start, though?
Yeah.
And also, everyone, we're going to be bringing Marie on, which is, I will tell you, she's got over 30 years of being in the cardio med bed industry. So do you think that's important? That's really important. And then we have Cheryl, who owns a cardio med bed, and she's in California, okay? And before we start, Dana, you had Penny come up with a Cellsonic regeneration, and how many patients did she work on in 2.5 days?
So it was more like 3 days, because our third day, we started getting repeat customers from the first day and the second day. So we actually did 3 days of Cellsonic work here, and we worked on about 75 people. We also worked on some kids. So that was really super exciting for me to see parents realizing that child's having a problem that needs to be attended to today before they become a teen or an adult. So we ended up doing full 3 days of Cellsonic work. We worked on a person about every 15 to 20 minutes. So people were coming in that have been at the practice, and new people as well. We had clients that had referred like friends and family to come in to use the Cellsonic. I had people drive about 5.5 hours. A couple of people actually drive anywhere from 2 to 5.5 hours to come use a Cellsonic. So
they were coming to do the Cellsonic. They were coming to do the Cellsonic and the cardio med bed and get non-surgical, right?
Yes, all three of those, and many of them go on the cardio med bed before Cellsonic to increase their circulation into that area, and then when they have Cellsonic, they'll go back on the cardio med bed too. So it's like fantastic, and I know why you call it the Power Pack.
And that's why we bring the thunder down.
That's
Go
right.
ahead, Dana.
All right, so this is Tammy. She's going to tell you a little bit about what has happened to her over the last year or so. So I'll let Tammy take it from here, and I'll step out for a second.
Tammy, thank you for sharing, because understand something. You see all the talking I do? Well, your story is going to be more impactful than everything I say today, because guess what? They want to hear from real people, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
You're welcome. First of all, I probably didn't mention it when Dana asked, but Raynaud's. I had Raynaud's about 7 years ago, autoimmune disease, blood clots. Well, I started last year. I kept falling. And I was set for September 15th to have a knee replacement. September the 7th, I got a real bad wound on the bottom of my foot, and I felt like the whole time I had to be out of work for 3 months. I felt like I wasn't supposed to have that knee replacement. And so then the first of the year, it was December the 15th when I started going back to work. first year I started back training with Dana, I mentioned, I said, I'm supposed to have a knee replacement. It's gone. My knee's gone. She said, no, it ain't. She said, let me work with you. So I started the first year working back, I'm training out, and then her working with my knee. And I'm a million times better. I was falling all the time. I had real bad on Thanksgiving Day. I fell real bad. Had a bad one on my leg, and then now I can walk. I don't stumble. I was even dizzy. I mean, having dizzy. I mean, I was dizzy. Circulation problems. They put me on the med bed, and it's helped out. Not been able to really take a shower. I take baths. And now this past weekend was the first time I was able to take a shower. Saturday, I felt a million times better. A million.
Dana, would you come in and fill in some of the gaps? And just as a New World practitioner, please just walk us through.
Sure. So she did come back to my gym. I have two businesses. I have my practice and my gym. And she had trained with me a few years ago, and I hadn't seen her in a while. And she came back with her daughter to train again. And I noticed she was limping a little bit worse than I had seen her a few years prior to that. And she's just like, I can't find shoes. I can't find the right sneakers to wear. Everything just hurts. And I said, how's your lower back feeling? She said, yeah, I got all kinds of problems back there too. So I said, all right. I said, you don't have to go to surgery. Just like she said, let's take a chance on Wolf non-surgical deep tissue, see what it can do. And I described it to her, and I could see her face. She was kind of like, okay, you're going to do what with your elbow? I was like, I'm going to help you move that knee. I'm going to help you get more circulation. We're going to put you on the med bed and even give it like a double whammy. So after her first session of non-surgical, honestly, she was close to tears, would you say? Yeah, because it was the first time she could get up by herself where she didn't feel unsteady. The swelling during the time they were working non-surgical, I could see it like visually going down, and I could feel it under my elbow. And then the med bed, of course, kicked that into high gear. So she literally had, I would say, 50% reduction in inflammation. And she was walking so much more steadily. And she just couldn't believe it. She kept saying, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. Just one time you worked on me. So since then, we've worked on her several times. We've also been on the med bed, and we've actually worked on her low back as well. And it's the first time she's been pain-free back there in, how long would you say?
Over a year.
More than a year. Yep, long-standing pain for a year and a half, and one treatment, and we were back in business. So she couldn't stand long enough to shower. So that was like a really big deal to her, because she's like, I just want to get in the shower and just be able to do that. So she did it last week, and that's a pretty exciting milestone too.
Yes, very.
That's beautiful.
Okay, so I'm going to have Tammy step out. Tim, thank you. We appreciate you sharing that with us too.
Dana, tell everybody
Yes.
Where you live, how to get in touch with you. Only if they can't stay for the rest of the show. I need them to understand that.
Sure. I'm in Central North Carolina. Mitch and I have a practice in a town called High Point. It's close to Greensboro and Winston-Salem, if you're familiar with the state. If you're not, we're halfway between Charlotte and Raleigh. So those are some bigger cities you can look at. You can reach me here at my practice, which is Essential Elements Health and Wellness. And the number is area code 315-360-2467. Again, 315-360-2467. I'd recommend you give me a quick text, say you saw me here on the video, because that way I can get back to you, because I am running two businesses. So sometimes I'm in between there. So picking up the phone could be a little challenging to make a connection. So just text me, introduce yourself, and I'll get back to you within that day.
Thank you, Dana. Okay, so
My
everybody,
pleasure.
just so you know, you can actually, if you take a look behind me here on the slide, all right, you can put your questions on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And understand, I'm going to be starting what's called Doc Talk Live Q&A, and the whole thing is only going to be answering questions, not me going blah, blah, blah. It'll be only answering questions, and I'm going to be starting that show. But guess what? Remember when you were in school and you didn't want to put your hand up because you didn't want to look foolish? Guess what? You didn't have your questions answered, did you? Understand this. Nobody even has to see you. You could use a different name, but you need to ask questions. You know what? You need to challenge us. You need to challenge yourself. You need to challenge everybody that believes that they're an authority of something out there more than ever today. Okay? Everybody also, we're going to be Marie on in a second, and I want everybody to understand something. Today we're focusing on what is called the cardio med bed, everyone. Okay, and that's it behind me. But the cardio med bed is, I got to just tell this really 2 minutes, that's it, and then we'll bring Marie on. And then Marie will be talking with Dana, but here's the deal. Okay? All right. Anyways, so here's the deal. So now what we have is we have companies making cardio med beds that they'll range around $150,000 to $250,000. And guess what? They're hardly even used and they're in hospitals. And the reality is, does anybody know why they went to hospitals? Have no problem spending money, do they? Guess what? This was somebody's idea. They put them in the hospitals. And then the cardiologist said, you use the beds, we go on strike or we quit. Why? Because a cardio med bed can take somebody with a 92% blockage in their heart, and after 37 hours, and you can do an hour twice a day even, but after 37 to 40 hours, that person has a brand new set of arteries. Now understand something. We're not talking about that. We're talking about anything in the human body. When you take 60% of the blood supply and you bring it up to the core and the upper part of the body, and then you flood it back down into the body, and there's no harmful side effects. It's totally natural. When people do this, they'll fall asleep. We'll have Dana tell you, after the first time, or even a few minutes after, they'll fall asleep. They'll go into a relaxed state. Understand, and on a cardio med bed is the most powerful 1 hour exercise than you can do, more powerful than going to the gym. But of course, you're not going to stop going to the gym. I'm trying to tell you that even the person that's crippled up, the person that wouldn't go to the gym, the person that does go to the gym, who should be doing a cardio med bed? Everybody, and we'll prove that today. Now that cardio med bed, I want you to understand, I'm a little obsessed with my mission. My mission is to create power pack clinics all over the world. We have taken these brand new, they're brand new, or they're not brand new, but they haven't been used. You've got to get the dust off of them. The reality is this, we take these beds that are in mint condition, we refurbish them, we give you a 2-year warranty, okay? And you know what? How about paying $35,000 instead of $250,000? And understand something, I'm not trying to do the sales pitch here, but I'm trying to tell you, when you hear Dana's story and you hear Marie talking to her right now, you'll understand something. This is what we call bringing the thunder down. And understand this, has anybody really taken a look at any statistics about where we were even 20 years ago and now? That's why I'm going to be doing stat of the day, and I'm going to show people that, and they're just going to, it'll blow your mind when you see that in the last 10 years, we have increased disease and sickness in the last 10 years more than in the last 75. Did you get that? Are you here yet? Are you awake yet? I don't know. What do you think, Marie?
Well, first of all, I think that power pack is a tall glass of water, right? Seriously, if someone can take a shower after a year and stand up and take a shower without pain, that is music to anyone's ears. And if anyone has ever felt sick or has had health issues where they couldn't get up, couldn't walk, couldn't move, felt lethargic, felt tired, any one of us at any given time has had a little bit of that, and you don't want that dis-ease, feeling uneasy about your condition. And if you have this perfect trinity of products and services that can get you to feeling perfect again or feeling really, really good, that is more valuable than all the wealth in the world, right? Our health is really, really more valuable than the money. So I think that when you guys present it in the way that you do, you you give people a lot of information, but people should understand that this is the real deal. This isn't made up. People are actually becoming and reversing their conditions, and they are benefiting from this perfect, combination of products. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for putting that together, because in and of itself, all these little products together are great. But when you put them together in this little harmony of sequences of how to use them, I mean, that's where the benefit is. I mean, the CardioMed bed could probably be powerful in and of itself, but then when you combine it with the Cellsonic and then you add the Wolf Non-Surgical, you just get this perfect little trinity of products that can really bring back a lot of health. So with that said, I'd like to say that, to your point, Dr. Wolf, there's a lot of dis-ease in this world, and we've gone so far out of the norm. But, maybe 70 years ago, they didn't have all these chemtrails, right? Maybe our products weren't tainted with so much garbage, from coloring to fillers to, it is my understanding now that we have a lot of the bugs in our food. 65% of the world, that was my fun fact, 65% of the world is already consuming bug products without knowing what the shells of those products do to people. We're going to start seeing more allergies. We're going to start seeing more, we all of a sudden we had autism. All of a sudden we had celiac disease. All of a sudden we had all these diseases popping up out of nowhere. So when, to just bring it back in, when we have all of these things against us, how do we protect ourselves from it? You need to flush it out, right? You need to flush it out of your body. And when you have the ability, as you're young, you're running around and you've got, how do you say, all that adrenaline, and you have all of that boy energy or girl energy when you're young. You're running around and you're moving your body, and your circulation is great when you're young. But as we become more stagnant, as we sit longer, as we become lazier, as we eat bad foods, we become lethargic and we don't move and we don't have circulation. So how do you jumpstart that? How do you, if you say, okay, I'm not feeling it, I really want to feel good again, how do you do that? Well, you could get on your bike, you could get into the gym, you could get it on your treadmill, and you could do that. But do you want to really jumpstart it? Do you want to really just jumpstart it so that you feel good starting from the first time you use a product, and then add to that all of the other things? You're eating well and you're exercising. You're going to probably you're going to be sticking with that program much longer if you can feel better right now, right here, right now. Not 3 weeks from now, not 6 weeks from now, not when the exercising kicks in, not when the weight loss kicks in, not when your energy gets better. Right now. Start right now. How do you do that? You can get on a CardioMed bed. And
Thank you.
Yeah.
Marie, if I can say something, guess what, everyone? How many people would love to go to the gym, would love to work out again, but they don't have it in them? They feel like if they extend too much, they could tear out. That's right. And you need to get this, everyone. Nobody's metabolism slows down. There's no such thing. Just like this, there's no such thing as a cholesterol problem. Okay, people don't need statins. Statins do nothing for cholesterol except stop making it, and then guess what? They're the biggest cause of Alzheimer's. Oh, thank you very much. And that's the only thing they do. So understand, we're all getting screwed over. Understand this. Your metabolism has never slowed down. You have been creating physical blocks through calcification and scar tissue formation and crystallization. That's it. That's all. Okay, and of course you're getting more toxic, and the toxins are causing these blocks of scar tissue. We've got people sending questions in, and we will get to the questions, everyone. So if you have to leave, go back and watch the show, but we will answer the questions. Okay, Cheryl, you had your son come home. Do you want to tell that story? Because that's a recent story, isn't it?
It is a recent story. Thanks, Daryl. So my son was in an accident where he broke his neck, and he has a cage that surrounds both parts of his neck. And so when this happens, you feel like your neck is going to fall off. His head's going to fall off. And so there was a lot of stiffness. He had a lot of stiffness through his shoulders. And so he came to see me and stayed for a good 5 days. And so we were able to do the Cellsonic Wolf non-surgical, and he got on the cardio med bed. Now, one of the benefits of this cardio med bed is it's sending more blood back to your heart. And so what this means is now you're getting more oxygen that's going throughout your body. It's getting into all your organs. And with that level of circulation, the healing is going to be exponential. And so in just 5 days, we were able to eliminate the pain in his lower back. He was able to have more freedom in his neck. It was more than that. It was the confidence and that sense of self-being and the happiness, the joy that was exuded from him because he was pain-free. And this is the truth. When you're living in chronic pain every day, it's really hard to find your happy thought. But the truth is, we do have the answer. I mean, there isn't anybody that gets on this cardio med bed, even for the first time, that doesn't get up after an hour and go, oh my goodness, my calves, it feels like I've been running for an hour. And I said, yes, your body's been exercising for an hour. Even people who can't, especially after you've had a broken leg or you've been sedentary for a long time. And if I have a minute, Daryl, I have a fabulous story about a woman who's coming to see me, and she's in her 70s. She came in a walker, and she says, it's so hard for me. If I get up from my couch and go into the kitchen, I have to rest. Okay. She got on the cardio med bed for 1 hour. I was so proud of her. And she was thinking there was no way I can do this for an hour. We put on some music. She lays there. We slowly increase the pressure. And she got up after one session, got off the bed and walked to the bathroom and back. And she goes, how is that possible? I am not tired. And I said, oxygen and circulation. So she's coming back for 35 more sessions so that she can take her life back.
And guess what, everybody? She will have her life back. It's as simple as that. You don't have to believe us, but everybody that comes and gets a cardio bed or gets a Cellsonic regeneration or does Wolf non-surgical will give you a money-back guarantee on your first treatment that we are going to rock your world. Why would you believe anybody anymore? I wouldn't believe me. Why do we give a money-back guarantee? It's not a marketing tactic, guys. It's you got to start believing in yourself, and it's all been basic and it's logical. It's all been logical the whole time. Dana, so you got your cardio med bed. I want to know, and not everybody can do this, Dana, because just like you have your own gym, you're your own woman. You run your own health, New World Practitioner Clinic, plus the gym. You stand in your power. And I'm not telling you anybody could do this. This was Dana doing it. I want to know what your secret is, Dana, because I think every woman that's listening should know. You got your cardio med bed and you had it paid off in 10 weeks, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's true. I had a plan too. Like you said, I'm pretty disciplined and structured, and I think that comes a lot from past martial arts training. And also, I was a professional bodybuilder. I retired in 2014 from that. And to do those types of high-level athletics, you do have to have that discipline. So I'm very grateful I developed that, because going into my business, I certainly, after my first course of with you and with Dr. Sage on the non-surgical, I knew this was the answer for a lot of my clients. They were suffering with knee problems and things like that in my gym. So when I came home, I was just like, okay, Dr. Sage and Dr. Daryl told me I can do this. I can do it. So I just started working on people, and I guarantee them, I said, hey, if I do absolutely nothing for you, you can have your money back. So you're not going to lose anything at all in giving it a try, but you may gain some more mobility and less inflammation. So I just started working directly after my first course. Just like you said, Doc, people can do it. So it's not really magic. It's just that you have to, if you got to borrow a little confidence from Dr. Sage or from Dr. Darrow, then borrow it for a little bit. Know that there's plenty of us practitioners that you can borrow it from until you gain your own. Because when you do your first client, I can almost guarantee for you, if you do your first client, they're going to say, I feel so much better. My inflammation is so much better. I'm so grateful I found you, because a lot of times they'll tell you they've been in the medical aspect of things and they can't get well. They can't get well. They're like, I feel like I can't get well. I said, well, hopefully we can bring that for you here. So borrow some confidence from Cheryl. Has got amazing stories, I'm sure. Maria as well. She's been in this industry with this beautiful machine that's behind me here. And I can tell you the circulation improvement for people is life-changing. Could I talk about my very first client on my med bed?
You don't have to ask for approval for anything.
Yes, sir. I know that. All right. So I have so many stories. We have since March into May, I paid off the bed. We've had about 60, I believe. Mitch does a lot of the appointments. He'd have better numbers, but I think we've had at least 60 people on it, including ourselves, and packages of 35, just like Maria recommends and the FDA recommends that. So through this course, the very first person we had was a couple who I've known probably about 15 years, and they're both about 80 years old now. And when I known them 15 years ago, they were very lively, talkative, especially the man in the relationship in there. He was very funny, he would make jokes, that kind of thing. And his wife called me and said he's been diagnosed with congested heart failure, and medical field told us there's nothing more they can do for him. And I said, well, I'm pretty sure we can try this and see what happens. So she's like, what is it? What does it do? And I said, just come in and I'm going to give you a free session and let's see if we can help him. When I saw him walk through the door, just like Cheryl was talking about, he was in a walker. His skin was completely gray. He was hunched over. He'd lost probably about 30 pounds or so in the last 3 to 4 months. His lips were blue all around here, up near his nose. His eyes were pulled down. There were dark circles under his eyes. Honestly, it almost brought me to tears, because the last time I had seen him, he was very, had a lot of vitality and was moving. And I told him, I said, we're going to get you on the med bed. Let's see if we can do that. So we had to get a step for him to even get up a little bit. And then Mitch actually lifted him up into the bed. And I said, Steve, you know, where you are medically right now, I said, this can be a little bit of a risk. And I said, we're going to start out very, very low on the pressure and all of this. And I kind of explained it to him. He's like, what else can I do? The medical field sent me home to die. And I said, sorry, I'm kind of emotional about it. I said, I don't think that's going to happen. I said, I think that we can help you. So he took his first, and this is the great part of the story, he took his first treatment. And he got off the bed, and his wife's kind of looking through the door in the treatment room, trying to see what's going on. And he goes, I don't think I need my walker. And before I could say anything, his skin was all pink. He looked great. And that was 1 hour on the bed he did his first time. His wife said, oh, no, you're going to use that walker. She said, because I'm not picking you up off the sidewalk. So I was like, you probably need to use your walker to the car. So he did do that. But now he's probably into maybe 50 sessions on the bed. He's driving again. He's starting to gain some weight. Unfortunately, he fell, broke his lumbar vertebrae. However, he took 2 Selasonic treatments the other day, and he said he felt so much better, had no pain, was able to sleep through the night. So his life has radically changed. His wife's life has radically changed because she was up all night trying to care for him, and she was getting sick herself. So that was our very first client that we had on the bed, and I have about 60 more stories, but that one really touches my heart because they just basically they told him you're not going to live in much longer, and that's been like 9 months now. So, and he's doing great.
That's fantastic. What do you think, Marie? You've been in the game for what? Is it 30 or years? Am I right?
Years. Yep, 30 years. It sounds like they said, "Oh, there's no other drug we can give you, and we can't make any more money off of you. So go home and die." Right? No more hope. Because
that's exactly it.
There's no incentive for them to prescribe the device. It doesn't make them any money if they send it to another doctor, right? They don't get any kickbacks. They don't get any referral fees. So, it's interesting because Dr. Wolf and I have talked about this often. Doctors practice medicine. They practice. And so if you come to a doctor with a condition, an unheard of condition, you're the guinea pig. They're going to practice on you, right? And so in their practice and their many years of working with people, they've exhausted all possible options that make them money, right? After that, they've got no use for that poor patient. So, we're kind of lucky in that respect that we can pick up where they left off. They think that they're sending us their crumbs, but in reality, we're just creating a stronger population. And that's what needs to happen. We have a lot of mental health issues, physical issues. We have a lot of people who are hurting from the heart, and not just physical and emotional pain, but really, really heartbroken. And so I think that the MedBed really does heal a lot of that. And correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Wolf, but I heard once that emotion causes scarring as well. When you go through something traumatic, you do create scar tissue in your body over, an emotional breakup or something that has hurt you. And again, how do you fix that scar tissue? How do you replace it, or how do you create another way so that scar tissue doesn't hurt as much? You create collateral passageways, right? You create collateral passageways around there and allow that blood to circulate around it and give that blood that chance to do its free thing. Move around your body. That's all it wants to do. Whether it's going to go by hook or by crook, whether it's going to go around a blockage, through a blockage, it wants to move. And the best way to get it moving is to put people on that cardio med bed. And, that is really amazing to hear. That story just touched me. It was wonderful.
I can tell you, Marie, too, that everything you're saying is correct. When people have trauma, they create a chemical cascade of those emotions. So they go into, these emotional states that are very acidic over time, and that's what's causing the scar tissue that you were talking about. And that's eventually how people get syndromes and diseases that the medical field likes to kind of categorize. But I can tell you some of the really powerful things that we've seen that it surprised me, but didn't surprise me, because I do understand the scar tissue development. But people would not only get on the bed for cardiac issues, but people have been on there for high blood pressure. We've seen that starting to reverse for them. We've seen the pancreas start to work better in type 2 diabetes, as well as type 1, which if anyone's familiar with that, the medical field will tell you you're dealing with this for the rest of your life. But when you see someone where they're actually getting the scar tissue removed because of the intense circulation from the med bed, they're actually working better. They need less insulin for themselves throughout the day. So that's a very powerful shift for them. Also with diabetes, we see a lot of kidney issues, adrenal fatigue as well, and we're seeing that reverse because as soon as the kidneys get all the circulation that they need, they start to open that scar tissue up, right? And if we add Wolf Non-Surgical on top of that, working in the kidney area, the ribs, even into the abdomen for that. We find that reverses quite quickly. The kidneys are very resilient, so are the adrenals. And when you take care of the adrenal gland and the kidney together, you'll start to see that blood pressure change for people. All of a sudden, they don't need as much medication because they have functioning organs again, right? And we also see, I think you talked about some of the trauma and what it can do to us mentally. Our brains scar like every single part of the body, right? It scars just the same. On the med bed, what we see is as that blood, that oxygenated blood is pushed back up into the upper body and into the brain, we're seeing people with more clear speech. We see people with more clear thinking. They also start to become more aware of some of the things they're doing in their lives that might be causing some of the symptoms that they have. So not just and I call it the med bed. I kind of shortened it instead of cardio med bed, but I call it the med bed because I just saw even with cardiac issues, I also saw these other things correcting themselves too. Joint pain is another thing. If I have someone that, it's going to take a lot of non-surgical or cell-sonic to get their joint pain down, the med bed will bring it down usually at like 1 or 2 sessions. The lymphatic system will kick in again because the pressure on the cuffs are so awesome. Like these beds are so amazing, and I can't say enough about them. We've seen so many people, like literally they changed their lives in 1 or 2 sessions. So when they take 35, they're like referring like crazy. So practitioners that are like, wow, she paid that bed off in 10 or 12 weeks or something, you can do it too if and when you make a plan for referrals. Because if anybody, like Steve's cardiologist, right, we had a connection because she literally said to him after about a month, I guess, of treatment, so he would maybe been through like 16 to 20 treatments, and he went in for a checkup with the cardiologist, and she's like, Steve, I didn't think I'd see you again. So she was completely blown away. She's like, what are you doing? And he told her, I'm doing external counterpulsation therapy. He's like, med bed. So I taught him something. He told her, and she's like, I want to talk with the person that has this bed. So referrals are going to be like massive. When people's lives are changed, they tell everybody. And those everybody's are going to start calling and talking with you. So I can guarantee that. I don't advertise. I just help people, and they do the advertising for me.
Beautiful. And if I can say something, and here's one for you. And you know what, Dana? I really applaud you for your strength and your courage and the way you get up and you talk, okay? I'm going to say this right now. Do you know how many people right now are telling me that they are getting ready to go do kidney dialysis, and when they get on the cardio med bed, even the first treatment, am I wrong, Dana? This changes right away. You know what? Everybody's told that once you have kidney problems, it's over, baby. That's it. Now it's dialysis. You have no way out. And they are told this hardcore by the medical system. And I want everybody to get this. I am a lover, not a fighter. I'm not trying to fight with the system. I'm not trying to fight with them. I'm trying to tell you that you don't have to use them anymore. They're only for emergencies, and you've made yourself into an emergency because you live unconsciously. And you make choices like the majority makes that are only complaining every day. And now I want to talk about, and so understand, you're right about this too. The adrenals, it affects them so much. And the lymph system, the whole story you told was beautiful. And let's go back to the heart. So here it is. The heart is the emotional organ of the human body. All your love affairs with yourself and everyone else are recorded in your heart. That's why heart disease is the main killer and not cancer. It's second. Cancer makes more money than anything else. They're harvesting us with that. But heart disease, okay, is the main thing that takes people's lives. Now understand why. It's because people do not know how to emotionally, okay, love themselves. If you actually unconditionally love and care for yourself, it's a selfish act. If you are looking to get Dana or Cheryl or Marie to love you enough to fill up your heart, you are dumb. You need to fill your own heart up with love and cherish yourself, observe yourself, stop judging yourself. You know what? As long as you want to judge yourself, and as long as you need someone else to tell you that they love you, you're never going to get enough. Once you fill up your own heart and you get rid of all the guilt that's gone on, that the systems have, the religions have, that the family has, that the neighbors have, your heart will heal. And that's the deal. And understand something. Everything is emotion, energy in motion. Everything is frequency. And I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter what illness you have. If you restore the circulation, you restore the oxygen. If you restore the circulation, you restore the electrical current. If you restore the circulation, you restore detoxification, and you restore the nourishment. And understand, I already told you, there is no old age. There is only scar tissue calcification that makes you feel old. I will outdance anybody that's watching today. I will outwork anybody that works for me. I've got people working for me that are not half my age, quarter of my age, and they can't keep up. There is nobody that works with me that keeps up with me, because guess what? And the main thing is this. I truly do love myself unconditionally, and I will not guilt myself by any rules or fools have made on this planet. So understand, I know this is about cell-sonic regeneration in the cardio med bed, but understand, Dana, Cheryl, and every other New World practitioner that takes our courses, they come with whole body healing. Cheryl, what do you think?
I think you're absolutely right, Daryl. And I have a wonderful story about a woman who was on my med bed. And as much as we've been working on her, one of the things that was still her block was unconditional self-love. She gets on the cardio med bed. This is probably her 7th time. And all of a sudden, she just starts sobbing. And she goes, I get it. I finally get it. So, yes, we do have emotional blocks. And yes, we make up a lot of stuff about our hearts being broken. The truth is, the only broken heart you have is when you stop loving yourself. And so when we have that unconditional self-love, everything else falls into place. It's no longer, do I want to spend money on myself? Do I take the time to get better? You are so excited and so revitalized that all you want to do is feel good and love yourself and get better and do whatever it takes. And so, absolutely, Daryl, I totally agree.
Yeah, the only difference, Cheryl, and you know it as well as I do, the only difference in a person's life is the energy they have or they don't have. And understand something, almost everybody that works for me doesn't buy into my stuff. And they don't have a lot of energy. And they don't. I gotta be honest with you, and I'm not putting anybody down, but if I were to hire people that actually believed in what I believed on an emotional, nutritional, and physical level, I'd have to do everything for myself. The world does not buy into this. They've all been taught they're selfish, and guess what? Everybody's so desperate for love, they'll eat a cheese casserole with a burger in it and a bunch of other stuff and then fart all night. The reality is what are you willing to give up to get love? What if you self-serve the love? Then you wouldn't be compromising yourself, and that's where the world is falling apart a little bit. What do you think, Marie?
Well, I think you are 100% correct. I mean, it's probably, I always say it's kind of kismet that you and I met, and we met in such a way because we speak the same language. And I've always, and I learned from a very, very young age that toxicity doesn't serve me well, whether it's in my food, it's in my air, it's in my water, and it's in with my people. Okay, so I do anything and everything I can to remove those toxins from my vicinity because I want to be okay. I care enough about myself, just like I would care about my children to feed them the best foods. I care enough about myself that I feel like those things are super important to my overall well-being. And so people, how do I say this? It is a very challenging thing if you've been taught all your life that you're not worthy. And really, the only important thing in the way of our health and in the way of our mindset is that in between these ears, like here and here, right here, and in here, that we take care of that. Because there's a lot of people that cannot be fixed until they fix that. And so first, they think that they're physically ill and that physical illness has to do with their body breaking down or their age or with whatever. But really, it's emotional. It's up here. Just like that gentleman that Dana was talking about. He had a pepidus step and he was happy years ago, because I'm sure he was probably doing things with his wife and he was taking his walks and enjoying his relationship with her and intimacy with her. And then all of a sudden, something somewhere along the way, maybe a heartache, who knows? Maybe he lost a friend, or maybe he, someone broke his heart along the way. And that caused that to happen. That caused his dis-ease to happen, congestive heart failure. So the bottom line is we are responsible for ourselves. If we can't take care of ourselves first, we can't take care of anybody else. And if we can't be happy in here, we can't find love in all the wrong places. Because like you said, there isn't going to be anyone that's going to care for ourselves as much as we can. And then in the end, once we've taken care of ourselves, the relationships we have with our families and with our friends, it's just so amazing, because people will want to be with you because of your energy, because of your happiness, because of your pet, because of everything that you've become. And I learned that from a really early age. I was always the clown. I was always the one that people wanted to hang out with, but I didn't know why. And as I grew older, I knew that it was all because of my self-care. And we need a lot of that. See a lot of people with broken hearts in the world, and they just need hugs. They just need to be happier. They want to divide. We have a lot of toxic things in the world that want to divide us. So we really should not be divided. We should be united. We should be happy. We should be helping each other, our fellow men, and helping everybody feel good. That way, we can live in a beautiful, beautiful world. And so I'm going off on a tangent, but I'm feeding into your energies because it's true. We can start healing people one at a time. And I'm really proud of you guys, because to hear your stories and what you've done, you have to understand, being in this industry for 30 years, I deal with cardiologists, right? Cardiologists that will say, oh yeah, the patients don't want to come in. They don't want to do this therapy. It takes too long. I don't have enough staff. The dog ate my homework. They have every excuse in the book why they can't use this device. So not only do they only use it for cardiology conditions, class 3, class 4 angina specifically. Why? Because Medicare pays them for that. They don't prompt the patient to pay for the service out of pocket like you guys do, because they fall on the crooks of their Medicare insurance. And if it doesn't pay them and it's a quick buck, they're not going to do it. So what happened? For the patients that did use this device for the many treatments that they didn't take the care to make notes about what else this device does. It was invented in 1950s. In the 1950s, for cardiac conditions in China. And so they never took it to the next step. Maybe some of them discovered that it helped the circulation. Some of them discovered it helped ED. Some of them discovered it was good for early stages of dementia. But never did they take it to the level that Dr. Wolf has taken it to. And
So,
that's what we
Maria,
need.
oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to say the reason for that is their conditioning, right? This is a short story, but I'll tell you why we do it as practitioners with Dr. Wolf, and why you were seeing exactly what you were saying about the medical and cardiologist, because I was working non-surgical on a retired doctor, general practitioner, on his wife. And she's telling me, I said, "Oh, how's his retirement going? It's just recent." And she said, "Well, he's got kidney stones, and now, they're saying his kidneys are failing, and he's got to go in for tests." And she's kind of going on. So I spent about 15, 20 minutes while I'm working on her non-surgically to tell her about the med bed. I'm like, "Well, we have the med bed right in the room next to you. And I kind of reviewed, this is what it does for you." And she looked at me. She goes, "Well, he has kidney failure." I said, I heard you. And she says, "You cannot recover kidneys.
Oh, yes,
There's
you
no way to
can.
do it." And I said, "Well, in your world," I said, "in my world, I've already seen it." I said, I wrote down the full name of the machine. I said, "Then you can talk to your husband about what it is, and we'll go from there." Nope, not going to use it. Can't be it can't help me anyway, because you can't, as I said, heal kidneys anyway. So they're just like, your machine can't do it. And I'm like, "Okay, I don't know what else to tell you, but I'll tell you, practitioners, don't spend your time more than 15 minutes on people that can't hear you, they can't see it, and they can't understand it." And it was, Marie, just what you were saying, is that this has got to change right before they can do that. As practitioners with Dr. Wolf, we understand that everything is emotional and thought-based, right? If you're having negative thoughts, you're going to have negative emotions, which are very acidic and are going to cause some problems in the body, right? Depending on where the blocks are. So we see it clearly. When someone comes in limping with their knee, I'm like, "You can use the med bed or Cellsonic or non-surgical. I have a tool that I can help you not have to limp and be in pain all the time." And it's our conditioning, being docs practitioners, right? We understand that through his extensive library, right? That we can go and look at. We have a practitioners portal where we can get more information if you're practicing, right? So it's literally, truly exactly what you said. It's our conditioning of our mind that allows us to see those things and help people. People are looking for it. So practitioners don't think, "Oh, shoot, I'm going to spend all this money and never get it back." You will absolutely get it back in a very timely fashion. And you're going to be changing people's lives immensely. So consider all those things when you're looking into the med bed. And Marie, you made it so easy for me to get my machine. I appreciate it so very, very much, because Steve, the first couple I was talking about, they were calling me every day. They were like, "Is that bed in your place yet? Is that bed there?" I'm like, "Marie said it's coming." And then when it came, Thomas was amazing. He did the training. He set it up. We got to watch everything. He worked right with the people unloading it off the truck to make sure that it got into the building safely, that it was set up, it was working properly. He gave us his personal number so we could contact him the same as you did. So I can tell you, if you're looking to get a machine, it's very easy to do. Talk with Dr. Wolf and he'll direct you to Marie, or Marie can leave her information, whatever they'd like to do. But just know, from a practitioner's viewpoint, that helped me be more relaxed in making such a big purchase like this. So thank you to both of you for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dana. And if I can say this, everyone, 2 hours ago, I got my second cardio med bed just delivered. Juan? Just delivered. And we got to put it together. So we're at the Braveheart Nation studios right here. And we have another treatment center that's at the studio, because we have what's called DOD 5-star healing retreat. It's a beautiful 5-star home, and it's got everything you ever wanted in energy medicine, plus, a saltwater structured ionized pool, and it is a 5-star retreat. And when people are staying there, but people come to Mexico, Zihuatanejo, Ixtapa, Mexico, and they just want to come for treatments, we now have a second treatment center. So understand, when things are getting shut down and the world's looking like it's ending, it's not. Don't let anybody try to pitch you or sell you on the end of the world. I don't want to go into the stats, but I love stats. The last time that there was a depression, there was more people that became millionaires. Understand something, because understand, you know what? Your thoughts mean everything, everybody. So, think about your passion, think about your purpose, focus on your life, and understand something. All of those things you worry about, when you lose your health, you only have one worry left. That's it. When you lose your health, you only have one worry left. So don't worry about it. You'll only have one. The rest won't matter, okay? So the reality is that you've got to learn how to focus on yourself, care for yourself, and love yourself. And it is so vitally important. And I just want to, I might as well tell everybody, I've been really not struggling, but just kind of sitting back and thinking. In a time when everybody thinks the end is coming, I want to show the world that we can be abundant. Believe it or not, when somebody buys a cardio med bed, and this is not a sales pitch, I'm trying to show you something. I want to lead the way. We would give them one course, either Wolf Non-Surgical, which is a 12-day course, or Whole Life Coach. Anybody gets a cardio med bed, I'm giving both courses now. So if you think that I'm making a huge profit, no. I talked with my team, and especially Lori, my partner, and I said, we need to, I don't care. Let's put people in seats. Let's help people become what they want to become. Just because we've got BlackRock, Vanguard, we've got the world trying to shut the financial tap off, we need to come together as a family and open the tap up. You can think I'm a real good spokesperson or salesperson, but I'm not here to sell you. I'm here to sell you on yourself. I'm here to open up every opportunity and say that I believe in the creator of all things, and I'm going to put out there to the creator that, guess what? Thank you for everything, but I want more. I want more people coming. I want more people training. I want Power Pack clinics all over the world. We don't have to fight with anyone. We just have to do what's right. We just have to create, a different frequency and mind our own business. Okay, Cheryl, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Dana, and then Marie, and then I'm going to answer some questions here. And if you ladies want to help me do that, then we can do it. Cheryl?
Thanks, Daryl. So just so everybody knows, I'm in Occidental, California, which is in Northern California, about 60 miles north of San Francisco, only 15 minutes from Sebastopol, and about 30 minutes from Santa Rosa. So you can reach me at 707-322-1979. This is Occidental Health and Healing. And then you can check out my website, which is also occidentalhealthandhealing.com. And please come. You want to get better. You want to feel healthy. You can be pain-free and vibrantly healthy.
Thank you, Cheryl.
That's beautiful, Cheryl. And honest, that's what we do. You can find me in Central North Carolina, Dana Anu at Essential Elements Health and Wellness. And my number is 315-360-2467. And again, that's 315-360-2467.
And my name is Marie Colombo, and you could reach me at 949-382-5187. That's my personal cell number, and I'm happy to take any of your calls and text messages. I'm in Michigan, and I used to live in California, Cheryl, but moved to the Midwest, and here I am. And my email, I believe, and forgive me for this, I believe it's marie@cardiomedbed.com. We created that just recently, but if you'd like to reach out to me there, text me first, and then I can send you the email, and I'm happy to share any additional information on the product and any questions you may have.
Thank you, everybody. So if you have to run, some people do, they're really busy. If you want to stay, stay, but I'm going to go through the questions here, and then I'm going to, at the end, I'm going to go over for those people that are interested in actually taking a look at a Power Pack clinic. Because understand something, I know you don't believe in yourself. I know you don't have faith, and I know that you think that you need to go to school for years and years and years to become this brilliant doctor. And guess what? Doctors only have 80 minutes of actual health education. You heard what I just said. 80 minutes, that's it. Don't believe me, go check it. 80 minutes. of health education. And all they do in that 80 minutes is they go over 2 case histories. So they go over actually, they go over 8 case histories, okay, about what somebody ate. If you think I'm kidding, why don't you do your homework? So the reality is this, is I'm not putting them down, but understand this, that you're never ever going to have the life that you deserve. You might have had a stronger genetic pull, but the reality is you'll never have the life that you deserve. Both of my parents passed on before they were 55 years old of cancer. And my mother had lung and tongue cancer, and we actually reversed it, but then she went back to alcohol and cigarettes. And she didn't go back because of the addiction. She went back because, guess what? She had the love kicked out of her when she was a child. I'm not going to get into it. My father, okay, he didn't even know how to love. He didn't know how to love. My mother knew how to love everyone else. My father didn't know how to love himself. And I don't want to get into the whole story, but the reality is he didn't know how to love himself, didn't know how to love his children. And you know what? Until you know how to love yourself, you're not really loving another human being. I'm going to tell you why. Because the only time that you will love another human being is when you need love from them. I will love all human beings because I don't need any love, because I am love. You think about that, okay? Please think about what I just said and think about how deep that is. Can we please take a look? Gonzalez, will scar tissue develop after a stroke? Absolutely. And where will it be, the scar tissue? Okay, first of all, does anybody know that you could have a stroke from a blood clot? Did you know the blood clot was actually created because you actually had in the wall of the artery, because you were so acidic, okay, you were pulling the minerals and the nutrients out, okay, you got a crack in the actual lining of the artery. And then what happens is the body's pulling in calcium. And guess what? A piece of calcium can be like a coral char, and it can actually poke it and cause it to bleed, and you'll get a blood clot, and that can cause a stroke. Does everybody know that the actual plaque that actually causes high blood pressure or actually the filling up of the artery is actually calcification and scar tissue, and you can reverse it? And actually there will be some cholesterol in there, but cholesterol is made to be the bad guy. It is one of the most important hormones in the human body. 20% of your brain is cholesterol. So go ahead, take your statins, and guess what? You won't even be able to tie your shoes after 4 years if you're lucky. You can't even tie your shoes because statins actually shrivel your brain into a raisin. Okay, and also, hope you know this, 50% of the outer coating of your cells are made out of cholesterol. I understand something. Nobody has ever died because of a bad cholesterol. Believe whatever you want, but you're going to, because guess what? You decided to take on the medical system as your new religion, and guess what? Guess who the high priest is? Your doctor that you say you're going to go see, okay, that he's going to dispense drugs. Understand, I think between me and you, I think there's just people that are born that their vibration can't come up high enough this lifetime. I think they're just going to keep it down there. I'm telling you what Dana said was true. I tell all my practitioners, unless you're going to have people that want to participate in their healing, they're just going to badmouth you. Nobody's going to be able to help them. Now, so the reality is this. If you have a stroke, you have a blockage. You have a blockage, then you're going to create more infection, more inflammation, which causes more scar tissue formation. And understand, Gonzalez, you're not doing enough. You know what? All you got to do is this. If I've got a 20-foot hole, I need a 20-foot ladder, not a 2-foot ladder. I'm going to tell you something right now, everybody. I will stand by this. Take 30% of whatever you spend at the grocery store, and just know your supermarket, you have a 98% chance that the supermarket you shop at is owned by BlackRock and Vanguard. I'm going to do a one-a-day today, and I'm going to tell you who BlackRock is. And just know that the one-a-day is called this. BlackRock is a black hole. And understand, I'm going to give you some history about BlackRock on how they've created all the financial crises and wars, and then they come to the rescue. You understand? Okay, they're the makers, and they're the takers, and they're the fakers. And that's it. I can say that. They're not after me. They're after the low-hanging fruit, because understand something, and you better get it. They're not Look at, how do you control a population? You make them sick. Okay, the last time that you were sick, did you stand up for yourself? No, you didn't have any energy. You couldn't even stand up. You had to have somebody walk you to the bathroom. Oh yeah, you're really dangerous. Understand something. Keep the major part of the population sick and you can control the world. End of story. So at the end of the day, you can say they're after our money. You can say they're harvesting people. They want to bring the population down. Well, everything's just a bloody lie anyways, from climate change to everything else. You can't tell the difference when they started and when the lies end. Anyways, what if you have a lesion on your sciatic nerve? Well, do you know what a lesion is, Karen? And I mean this in the nicest way. No, you don't. And understand something. Nobody understands health because guess what? You went all the way through school. You probably went to university. You probably went to college. And guess what? You don't know the basics about health. Nobody does. And the whole thing is a setup. A lesion is scar tissue. That's all it is. Whether you believe it or not, I have a lesion on my sciatic nerve. Okay, Karen, I'll tell you what. You come to me here. I'm going to stop at Zihuatanejo, Mexico, or meet me in Texas. I'll be in Texas in 2 weeks. I'll work on you for free. We won't show your face. And I'll get rid of that lesion, that scar tissue on your sciatic nerve. And it will take me 5 to 10 minutes. Are you here? Are you listening? Does everybody understand that it's a pile of BS this high? Do you understand that there's nobody out there with a problem that can't be reversed? And you go ahead and go, oh, you're just a quack. Oh, yeah, I heard about you. Well, of course, you're going to hear a lot of things about me because guess what? The best way to destroy me is to try to destroy my reputation, but I don't need approval. Remember, I already love myself. I process through my heart, and I humble myself down to only one thing, and that's the creator of everything. I work for the creator of everything, and that which is the creator of everything works for me. We're a team. That's it. I don't need anybody's approval. So just know that. Because there's nothing that I do that would ever hurt another human being. Isn't that something? What if you have a lesion on your sciatic nerve? A lesion, okay, all right? A lesion is scar tissue. And if it's in your abdomen, what do we call it? We call it an adhesion. It's only scar tissue and calcification, and they're not going to tell you, hey, you've got scar tissue on your sciatic nerve, because if a doctor said that, you'd say, well, how did I get it? And then guess what? He doesn't even know. We're not sure. We're not sure how you got it. Yeah, guess what? You got it because of inflammation. Inflammation is a flame. So if I put a burger and I got a flame under it, and I leave the burger there, guess what? That burger will be shrunk down and it'll be like a piece of beef jerky and I won't even be able to chew into it. And that's why, guess what? That's why you walk around like this, like an old man, stiff, or an old woman. You know, I can't brush my hair anymore. I can't wipe my butt anymore. Okay? I can't go play sports. I just got to watch them. I built a bloody pickleball court in my backyard. I got a swimming pool here. I will be young until I decide to leave. There's no grieving. Okay? That's it. You know what? You want to be young? You can be young. How much is it worth? Don't go around complaining and explaining to everybody about how you're in pain all the time because everybody else is in pain and nobody out there seems to know what they're doing with you. Go see one of my New World practitioners. They'll give you a money-back guarantee on your first treatment. They're not going to waste your time. They're not going to waste your money. And they're not going to waste their time either. You know why? Because they've been taught. We're not here to treat. We're not here to mistreat. Because if you treat somebody too often, you're mistreating them. And if you get a patient or a client that doesn't want to take any action at all, then all you're doing is just bringing it down. But if you're going to treat them, you better let them know, hey, if you're just coming for treatments, you know what? We're just going to slow down things. Once you take responsibility for that God-given gift, then we'll be able to rock your world. I need atrial fibrillation cured. I'm sick and tired of taking prescriptions and I'm not getting cut open. Well, just know that you can get a consultation from us for $150 with unlimited support. Or if you want to come on a live with me, we could do a live. I don't mind doing one live here and there for people, but the reality is atrial fibrillation, do you know what that means? That means you don't have enough oxygen and you don't have enough minerals. That's it. wow, that's rocket science. Because atrial fibrillation is where your heart is actually gasping. It's gasping for life. It's gasping. And what it needs the minerals and it needs the oxygen, and it's a simple turnaround. And that's the truth. And understand something. You're taking prescription drugs. Well, that's because you're going to a medical doctor. Okay, so when you go to a doctor, what do? They do drugs, they do surgery, they do chemo, they do radiation. That's it. If you don't want them, don't go there. And that means that, you know what, I'm going to tell everybody this. I have the biggest self-care, self-love library in the world. There's more educational information in there than any health school. Hear what I just said? I said any health school. What a big mouth I have. The master classes in there, we used to charge up to $1,200. They're all free. They're all free. Look at this, guys. Perfect Day Guide. Look at it. This is the Perfect Day Guide. You can buy this for $95 delivered to your door. If this isn't the most powerful book that you've ever read, and remember something, okay, just so you know, this thing is printed because we print hundreds at a time. This thing is printed for $72. The rest of the money is going for the shipping. That's right. This will be the most powerful guide you've ever read in your life. It has take action steps for everything. You know what? I'm going to tell you, most people are actually are addicted to being a victim. They're addicted to it, and they don't even know it. And I'm not telling the lady that I just read her thing. We've been programmed, and the only real live virus, because all viruses are dead, thank you. There's no such thing as a live virus, so it doesn't jump either. But the only live virus is victimitis. So could you stop spreading it around? How does the CardioMed bed assist with the effect after a stroke, numbness in the left side from the head to the toe numbness? Well, of course, it's going to help turn it around. And would you be willing to get non-surgical from Dana or from Cheryl? Would you be willing to actually go on a whole plant-based diet and take our nutraceuticals like the curcumin Cayenne 5000 every other hour? Would you be willing to actually do the ultimate coffee enema to purge your colon and your liver? How young would you like to be? Why don't you just challenge me? How young would you like to feel? Why don't you just challenge me? Because guess what? I know one thing. Source Creator created us, and the body will heal from anything that you created on an unconscious, subconscious level. And as far as, you can have this all come back. Remember something, you either have numbness or you have pain, okay? All right? Because you have blockages. We already told you we can get rid of the blockages. If we can get rid of the blockages, we're back to square one. How does CardioMed bed assist anyone with high blood pressure? Well, first of all, just know this. Anybody with high blood pressure, first of all, you're probably a terrorist to yourself. Penny, the sky's falling in. The next thing is you've got bowel blockages. No, I don't. I go to the bathroom every day. No, you've got bowel blockages that have backed up blockages into your liver. Understand, high blood pressure. Okay, if I have a hose on the ground and it's running water and I step on the hose, okay, the same amount of water is going to come through the hose, but it's going to have to come through faster, isn't it? Because the same volume's got to come through. So the same volume of blood has to get through your body, but it's being slowed down because of the calcification, scar tissue formation in your joints and in your muscles, and because of the twists in your intestine, or because of the actual vertebrae coming out of alignment due to the scar tissue and the calcification problems. Understand, it can all be reversed. High blood, and guess what? If I were to really take a look, you're probably not drinking enough water, not drinking structured water, not drinking warm structured water, not drinking enough of the water throughout the day. And why don't you start monitoring and trying to stay in the present moment and look at how many times you worry about something that hasn't happened and probably will never happen. And also, what about the sugar you're taking in? Don't tell me you're not. And you're not taking in enough salt. You need to take in some real Himalayan, Celtic, really good sea salt. But understand something, everyone. Our Beyond Ormus minerals have the highest electrical charge, and we have 92 different elements in our Beyond Ormus minerals product. Nothing can touch it. And then if you've got pain or you've got stiffness or numbing, you want to use our Beyond Ormus magnesium spray. There's nothing like it in the planet, and you'll absorb more magnesium through your skin than you will taking orally. But we have another good magnesium product called Mag Infusion that actually heats up in your mouth or in your digestive tract, so it gets infused and it's not used as a bowel mover because it needs to get into your system. Okay? How the and also understand you should be on the daily cleansing tea and the black gold if you have high blood pressure, because you've got a cork up your butt and you don't even know it. That's not true. I go to the washroom. It's not what comes out, it's what stays in. That's the deal. Are you a lean, keen, sexy machine? Do you have a core that's toned? Do you have no low back pain? Do you have no kidney problems? Understand something. It's not true. Anybody with high blood pressure, your core here is twisted and congested. Okay? How the non-surgical will assist with scar tissue on low back intervention. L3, L4, L5. Just know this. L3, L4, L5, that is where the main surgery happens with the back. That is 80% of all surgeries. The other, no, that's not true, Daryl. Probably about 65%. Okay, the other percentage will be in the cervical. But now the low back, L3, L4, L5, and guess what? That's because you were pooping in your pelvis all your life like everybody else. And the reality is this, if you've got an L4, L3, what's their name? Okay, what is it? Elliot. Elliot, just know this. I'll be in Texas in 2 weeks, or I'm in Extopasy, Watanago. If you want it for free, you come on, we'll go live, and I'll prove to everyone that I'll reverse 50% of your problem in the first treatment. Is that good enough? Okay, and understand something. What you've got is you've got scar tissue and crystallization and calcification. And let me just say this right now. We're going to have to fuse your L3, L4, L5 together because of the pain. And because you're almost bone on bone with the vertebrae. That's not true. Give me anybody, okay, all right? And let's say that you used to be 5'6", now you're 5'4". In the first treatment, I'll make you 5'5", because I'm going to go in there and I'm going to actually take the cartilage apart that's in between the vertebrae and restore the blood flow and the circulation, and it's going to be soft now, not a piece of beef jerky like you just chewed on the other night when you went out to the bar. And the reality is guess what? With Cellsonic Regeneration, CardioMed Bed, and the Wolf Non-Surgical, oh my God, it's just hands down. We've already won. So when you get done going to a chiropractor for 1, 2, 3, 4 years, once a week, twice a week, once every 2 weeks, you can come and try us, because why would you trust us? And we'll give you a money-back guarantee on the first treatment that we will go farther than everything else you've ever done combined in one treatment. Did you hear what I just said? Now, I can say this, but just remember, any chiropractor, any acupuncturist, any massage therapist, any physiotherapist can get a power pack too, couldn't they? And they could use their stuff. But the reality is they can't even come near what we're doing, and I'm not putting them down. I'm trying to tell you, I have a doctorate in acupuncture. I was a registered massage therapist. Okay, all right? And I would never even think of doing physiotherapy, because that's just playing inky-dinky schnitzel house and nothing's going on. And that's the truth. That's the truth. Remember something, anybody's going to get well to a certain point over time. We all forget the body heals. It wasn't the physiotherapist. And it wasn't Daryl that heals you. I've never healed a person in my life. I've created a situation and a healing environment, and then it's up to them to magnetize to what I've done and carry through. What's next? Can you be treated with the med bed if you have stents? I worked on a gentleman just lately, and he had 3 stents. And I said to him, we're going to go really slow. If you look at the cardio med bed, it says, do not work on anybody that has stents. Well, why wouldn't it? It certainly should. My God, this is the world. I'm going to sue your butt. I got him to sign off, and I said, look, if you feel uncomfortable at all, I'll put it on the lightest. It'll be just like a deep massage. Oh, we went deeper, went deeper, went deeper. And then guess what? He lost And it really was the cardio med bed. He was so puffy. He lost 23 pounds over 3 weeks of doing cardio med bed. And we did change his diet, but 23 pounds and all the puffiness was gone. Okay, whether you believe this or not, he had on his back a tumor, a hard fibroid calcified tumor right here, right there. Okay? And it's the same guy. And I said, look it, before we go do this, because I did something. Oh, I went and put my hand on him. Like, you know how you put your hand around somebody? Because I was saying, hey, how you doing? And I went, whoa, what's that? And he goes, oh, I've had this for years. I said, look it, let me just work on it. I worked on it for 10 minutes and I pulled it apart. Then we started doing the cardio med bed and we did the Cellsonic. And I know you're not going to believe this, okay? All right? But that thing was completely gone in just over 3 weeks. Guess what? If it would have been anyone else, that was this big, they would have cut that out. Now get this. Okay, so they're cutting something out that's the size of a small peach. Now, because what we did, because we're energy, electrical, magnetic human beings, I pulled the scar tissue apart. I did the Cellsonic. We did the cardio med bed. We brought the flow back because that tumor was actually a storage shed for all the negative emotional stuff that he couldn't process. And that was the weak part of his body. Because issues in your tissues. I said what I said, and I'll say it. Nobody can say different because it was just over 3 weeks and you couldn't find it. You couldn't find it. Now, if he had surgery, they would have cut a hole in him, then it would have healed, then there would have been scar tissue, and he wouldn't have dealt with the issue, the emotional issue with it, attached to it. And guess what? Wherever you have surgery, the scar tissue is worse than what you took out, and it creates a dam blockage. So now no oxygenation, no circulation, and now it grows back. Tell me, every woman on here right now, every man, tell me that 2 to 3 years later, you didn't grow something back that they cut out in that spot. Okay, so I'm telling you right now that I don't have the percentage, but I guarantee it's at least 60 to 80% of people that have surgery and they cut out. If you don't go to a person that does non-surgical, and if they have a cardio med bed, Cellsonic, all the better. But if you don't go to somebody after the surgery heals, that scar tissue stays and it becomes an emotional, physical block, and you will grow something if you live long enough, and you will not like what you get. Okay? If coming for training, where can I stay at the resort? Can you inbox pricing of MedBed? Okay, everybody that comes to our training in Ixtapalzi, Huachinango, Mexico, they get special pricing on Cellsonic, cardio MedBed, all the energy medicine when you stay in the DoD 5-star resort is free. All the other energy medicine is free, okay? And if you don't want to stay there, there's a hotel called the IXZI, IXZI. That's around $60 to $70 a night. And we've got about 3 or 4 different hotels on there just in walking distance. Or you can stay with us. We have 3 rooms, okay, at our place. And where I am right now, where I live and where my studio is, it's a 4-minute drive from me to the DoD 5-star. We're right in the middle of the jungle, just on the edge of a golf course, okay? Well, the golf course is 2 blocks away. But it's all jungle around my place here, all jungle around there. The most beautiful, safest place you could ever come to. Go to bhnuniversity.com or braveheartnation.com, okay? And that's about it. Anything else? What is Dana's website? Dana, are you still here? Dana, can you come on? Unblock Dana, please, Rafa. Dana, when you get yourself unblocked, just let me know, sweetie. Okay. What's that one?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
What-
yeah.
what-
So
what's your
actually, Gaston is actually putting my website and revamping it right now. So the best way to get a hold of me would be to call me because I've got several pages on that website. But like I said, we're just revamping it right now. So
No,
it'd
I
be
get
better
it,
to
I
find
get
me
it.
on my
You know what?
telephone.
I just finished my websites a while ago, and now I'm going to revamp them all again because things change, right? Just
Yes.
like we were only giving one certification way with the cardio med bed, now we're giving two, right?
Right.
Yeah, so things change, and we get it. So what's your phone number?
Area code 315-360-2467.
Very good. All right. Thank you.
You're
I think
welcome.
we're done with the questions, right? Okay, everyone. Please, the show's gone longer than I thought it would, but if you're interested in taking our courses, certifications, please go to go to BHN University, right? BHNuniversity.com, and you'll see all our courses there. If you want to find somebody with a cardio med bed or a cell sonic regeneration in your area, then you go to bhnpowerpack.com, or you could put in cellsonicregeneration.com or cardiomedbed.com, and you're going to see we have a world map for everyone that's doing this, okay? All right? And let me see. My course is Whole Life Coach course starts here. Get your butts down here if you want to, and October the 9th. And it's on for 9 days, 4 days on, 1 day off, 4 days on. Okay, the cost is $3,995, guys. It's absolutely the best price. If you come from Canada, it's Canadian. US, it's US. Okay, if you come from Australia, it's Australian. We're doing our very best, okay? And when you take any of our courses, we got a 3-day money-back guarantee for the first 3 days. You'll see what you get. And the Wolf non-surgical course starts 1 day after the Whole Life Coach stops. That's 12 days. There's 1 day off in the middle. And that is $49.95. And then we have the Women's Pelvic Restoration 3-day masterclass. Okay, and that course is like, I don't know, I think it's around 1,100 or something. I don't have it. We used to have it way at 2,000. We have brought everything down the best that we can. We get it. It's expensive to travel. They're trying to shut the taps off on you. We don't want your dreams to go into the gutter. And those of you that are interested in bringing the cardio med bed or the Cellsonic Regeneration into your clinic, please go to bhnpowerpack.com and feel free to give me a call. My phone number's everywhere. All right? And I would love to talk to you. I will never play salesman on you. Let's just see what we can do to work together. That's all it is. It's about working together and creating something beautiful. Thank you, everyone. I want to thank Dana. I want to thank Cheryl. I want to thank Marie. We'll be back here in 2 weeks, okay? And we'll have some more beautiful stories of brave hearts who have learned that they are worth it all. God bless. 3, 2, 1. You got this.
Is that it? He abandoned us. He told us to stay.